1 West till they bury me.
ISUPK under Commanding General Johanna. Live every Thursday night from 7 p.m. on the streets. 91.9 FM.
Alright, shalom again to the listening and viewing audience.
Shalom.
Priest and Officer Matt Koyak of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, coming to you live from the street 91.9 FM. Today with me
It's Priest and Officer Mike Kwa.
Priest and Officer Barriak.
And we have a brother with us from ISUPK Jamaica, Officer Abadawan. Are you hearing us, Officer Abadawan?
Khan.
Yawashima Shaibrakata.
Right here. Yawashima Shaibrakata.
Nice. Alright, so again, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge has been started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Johanna. And we teach the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? That the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we are family. We are part of the 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel. And tonight we're going to get into that topic because, of course, this is happening with our brothers and our sisters throughout the four corners of the earth, wherever the Lord said that we will be scattered. You understand? We don't understand something called hell. You might watch the governments, for instance, you know what I mean, and we might be looking for them to take us out of the condition where we are as a people. But our people don't understand that we have been taught something by religion, taught something by the Christian church, which goes contrary to what is in the Bible. You understand? But when you actually dig inside the Bible, you're going to see what the Most High or what the Lord is speaking about. So we're going to go into the topic tonight, heaven and hell. You understand? And for us to understand, if black people really understand that they are in hell. You understand? Because this is something important. We learn from the Christian church that hell is this place that we go underground. When we die, we go to this fiery pit. You understand? With a man with a tail, a pitchfork, where we will be tormented. You understand? But when you go to the scriptures, they're seeing something totally different from what is being taught or what is being taught by the Christian church, what is being taught by religion, what is being taught by pastors. You understand? What we have to understand is that heaven and hell is just conditions. Conditions where? On the earth. You understand? And when we go into the scriptures, you're going to see whereby we have been hoodwinked, we have been lied to by religious leaders, by religion, and this concept of heaven and hell that has been taught by the church will always have us spiral and will always have us scared, will always have us not serving the Most High because it is something that is selfish. You understand? But when we go into it, we're going to see a little more about heaven and hell, right? Officer Abadawan, I know if you're hearing, we still, because we're not seeing you on the screen, but if you're hearing, you could interject when you feel necessary.
I'm still here.
Right, we now see it, Most High in Christ. Right, so we're going to go into a few scriptures, but before we go into the scriptures, Baba Kusha, right, let me get Romans chapter 15 and verse 4.
Come on, Khan. The book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things are written aforetime were written for our learning.
So-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, wherever you will be scattered, you understand? The Lord is telling us that the things written aforetime were written for our learning. The things written aforetime were written for us to learn. So when we go into the scriptures, the Old Testament, you understand the New Testament, we go into the Bible, you will see whereby of the mistakes that our forefathers make and the things that they did in order for them as a people and as a nation for us to learn. You understand? The Lord is telling us the things written before time was written for us to learn. Contrary to what religious leaders may say, contrary to what they might teach. You understand? For example, one thing we like to talk about is the laws. You understand? They will teach the laws are done away with, but the things written aforetime, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, is for us to learn. So now we could go into the scriptures, go into the Bible, and see whereby where our forefathers made their mistakes and what they did in order to be in the right standing with the Lord. Go ahead, Baba Kusha.
Come on, Khan. That we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope.
That we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, we as a people, we're going to have that hope. This is what we have to understand. These things are written for our learning, because coming up in religion, coming up understanding different doctrines or traditions of men, as we might say, we learn a lot of different things. You understand? We learn things that is opposite and contrary to the Bible. One thing like I just always say, and we as a people have to know, we have to understand what is our identity, who we are. When reading this Bible, we must understand who we are. When we understand who we are as a people, and we go through the scriptures, you're going to understand these other races or these other nations, what role they played towards you, towards your nation, towards your people. You understand? And now we could roll it back and tie it into today and see whereby these nations stand. See whereby these nations, if they are still doing our people that, or if they are actually helping us. If they are helping blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians thrive, grow. You understand? Because we might be watching, what's the new thing that come out with the Indian Business Federation, I think it is, Salakia.
Yeah, come on. Let's pull it up
Okay,
here.
let's talk a little bit on it from a Baba Kusha.
Alright, so we have here in we have here the TTIBF, alright, which is the Trinidad and Tobago India Business Federation, right? This was officially launched just a couple days ago in Trinidad,
Right.
alright, on the 22nd of February 2026, alright. And what is the key objective of this particular organization? All right, is to facilitate easy partnership between companies, investors, and entrepreneurs, right? From India to Trinidad, right? And this is what they list as their strategic vision,
Right.
right? And this is what the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man has to pay attention to, right?
Right.
It says the strategic vision, the TTIBF positions Trinidad and Tobago as a gateway for Indian business, for Indian businesses looking to access a wider Caribbean and Latin American market, which is approximately 700 million people.
You understand? And this is what we have to understand. Our forefathers, for example, like David told us that these nations, they took crafty counsel against our people. You understand? When these nations come together, when they come into power, they set up for their people. They set up to make sure that their people is on top. You understand? But we have to ask ourselves this question. Where is the setup for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to be on top? The way that the Lord intended it to be. The way that he told Moses, what will happen to us is we follow these commandments, laws, and statutes. You understand? Where is that setup? When our people, we're not saying in the ISUPK under commanding General Ehana, we don't vote, right? But when our people come into power or in government, just as the scriptures say, our gates are languished. They don't look for our people. They don't look back.
That's right.
Because we never hear about the black, what it's saying there?
Salakia, yeah, Salakia, so the TTIBF, right? The Trinidad and Tobago Indian, let's find it back quickly. Yeah, the Trinidad and Tobago India Business Federation.
Where is the Trinidad and Tobago Black Business Federation? You understand? Where is this for black people? When we looked at the previous so-called black liberation of the Black Caucus movement that came to so-called help black people in Trinidad, what become of that today? None and void. You understand? What we don't understand, that was not for our people. That was not to help our people. Now we see in all these other nations thriving above us. You understand? Whilst black people remain at the bottom. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians have to understand that we are a people, we are in hell. Where did this idea of heaven and hell come from? According to religious leaders, according to the Christian church. That comes from something called Dante's Inferno. Anybody that have internet or Google, they could go up and look it up. But also to, Officer Michael is going to bring out a little bit on the Dante's Inferno for us to understand as well.
All right? So just as the officer is bringing out there, right? Dante's Inferno this is a myth, right? That spread all through the Christian churches today, right? And this stemmed way back from the 1300s, right? By a man named Dante Alighieri. All right? He had a dream, right? And he took this dream, right? To another his counterpart, right? A man called Salakia. The name that just slipped me, the Salakia, right? Called if you could just pull it up there from Babakasha. I can't remember the name of fan, right? But he took this dream, right, to another man, right, and used his structure in order to form this into what we call a comedy show or a play,
Right.
right? And this began to become a great focus, right, in Italy, right? And many of the wealthy people, right, would put their funding behind this comedy, right? Which all this stemmed from a dream. This was nothing that was associated with the Bible,
Right.
all right? And Dante provided the visual metaphor, right? Right. The name of the guy was Saint Thomas Aquinas, right? And Dante used his structure, right, and built this play, right? And many of the rich and wealthy people funded this, right? And then because he had the backing of the wealthy people, this was able to transfer to the painters like Michelangelo, right? And Bolosetti, right? And it made it all the way into the Roman Catholic Church as a painting, right? And one of the name of these paintings, you could still find that today, right, was the Last Judgment. This was painted by Michelangelo, right? It's still on the wall in the churches today. You could visually see the representation, and this was inspired by Dante's Inferno, right? And what Dante believed that hell was this underground place, right? With this man, right, with red horns and pitchfork, and he would torture you forever, all right? And it had the different descriptions of 33 sections are hell, right? This is what they believe, right? And they also categorize it, right? One part was the Inferno, the next one was Purgatory, and the next one was Parasdio, right? Which was hell, purgatory, and heaven, right? And this is how this myth came through straight down from ancient Rome and came all through the Roman Catholic Church and even into the modern churches today. And a lot of people today believe that hell is a place underground with fire, right? And that one would be torture, when this is not supported by the Bible.
Right.
Salakia.
Right. Right.
Right.
Salaki. I think it's called Salaki, sir.
Go ahead, Officer Abadawan. Go ahead.
I think it's called Dante's Inferno or something like that.
Can.
Right. The L stories by the Europeans. That man named Dante, I think he's the one who gave them that.
Right.
As you rightly say.
Can.
Right.
Can. You understand? And just as the officer bringing out, it's from Dante's Inferno, but something we have to take into consideration as well. When we do the research or we do homework, you understand, on these other nations, just like how the officers bringing out about Dante's Inferno coming down from ancient Rome. There are a lot of customs that came down from ancient Rome, and our people pick it up. Our people subscribed to it. Why did they subscribe to it? Because they were not taught their culture. They were not taught their way. You understand? The Christian church or religion on a whole is supposed to be the ones, because they have the Bible. You understand? They're supposed to be the ones teaching the people what is in the book.
That's right.
But when you for yourself go into the book, or you come into the ISUPK under commanding General Yohana and you start understanding certain things, you're going to see nothing that is being taught in the Christian church, nothing that is being taught in religion is actually in the Bible.
Okay.
You understand? And our people, year after year or generation after generation, we keep spiraling, thinking that religion is going to save us, thinking that what the pastor is saying is right, when it is absolutely not. You understand? Because we're supposed to know basic things like the dietary law. You understand? Basic things like the transatlantic slave trade being in the Bible.
Come on.
Basic things like Moses gave us laws as a people to keep. Christ kept coming and saying the laws of the Lord is not done away with. We're supposed to know these things, but yet still, we are not taught these things. So like your officer, about one. You want to bring out anything, Baba Kusha, before we continue?
Just can go ahead.
Alright, most time Christ. You understand? So now we're going to pull, give me Ecclesiastes 3 and 16. You understand? Because understanding heaven and hell to the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we have to realize that this is a condition. A condition, you understand, that is being played out right here on the earth. When anybody have it, they can read it from the Bible Kusha. Right? Ecclesiastes, chapter 3 and verse 16.
The book of Ecclesiastes 3 and verse 16. And moreover, I saw under the sun.
So under where?
I saw under the sun the place of judgment.
The place of what?
The place of judgment.
The place of judgment was under the sun. You go outside or we wake up every morning, you're seeing the sun raise, you're seeing the sun set. The place of judgment is under the sun. What is under the sun? The earth.
That's right.
And we are the people that are on the earth. You understand? The Lord is telling us that the place of judgment is under the sun. Go ahead.
That wickedness was there.
That what?
That wickedness was there.
And there was wickedness there. In that place. Go ahead.
And the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there.
And in that place, there's righteousness, but also there's iniquity there. What is iniquity? Sin. You understand? Somebody pull from a quick 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. You understand? In that place, there was iniquity. When you have it, go ahead, Baba Kusha. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. And somebody could hold 1 John chapter 2 and verse 4 to 7.
The book of 1 John. 1 John 3 and 4?
Baba Kusha.
The book of 1 John, chapter 3 and verse 4. Whosoever committed sin.
Whosoever what?
Committed sin. Transgresseth also the law.
So when we see in the book of Ecclesiastes, you understand that iniquity was there. That is sin. And what is sin? Transgression of the law. You understand? We see in whereby the Lord is telling us that in that place under the sun, that judgment was there. When you look at judgment, you understand? Think of it like you're going before a lawyer. You understand? You commit a crime, you go before a lawyer. You go before the lawyer is going to give you what? Your judgment or your sentence. Now you have to be able to go and carry out that sentence. You understand? Or serve that time that was given to you. Your judgment. You understand? And right here, you understand? The Lord is telling us that judgment was there. We as a people is going to serve out our judgment right here under the sun. You don't have to die. You understand? And go in this place where the Christian church or religion say there's a man with a pitchfork and a tail waiting to torment you. You don't have to die to go to there. You understand? So like you say, you want to say anything?
I said right. You know what they do, they tell you that so that when the pressure reach you here, you say, oh, hell is worse than this.
Right.
But what you are in is the hell. So they don't want to know that you are in hell because you are going to, rebellion is going to hit them.
You're correct. Correct. Can. You understand?
Right.
Can. And our people as well, when we start learning or understanding that this is hell, now what will start to happen? We will start to seek the truth. We will start to seek, but wait now. We have been told all these lies for so much years that when we die, we go into this place. You understand? Not knowing that we actually in hell. So now we're starting to seek the truth. So if this is being told to us, then what else is being told to us? Then you're going to realize that the white image they give is not Christ.
That's right.
Then you're going to realize that all these holidays that was given by the oppressor, we're not supposed to be celebrating it because we have our own way, our own culture, our own laws in the Bible that we should be following. You understand? Then you're going to realize that the whole Christian system, with all these churches and mosques and black groups, is just total failure to the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. And it is not going to bring us from the condition that we are in as a people and as a nation. You understand? Give me the 1 John chapter 2 and verse 4, Baba Kusha.
The book of 1 John 2 and verse 4. He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments, is a liar.
He that said, I know him, and do what?
Keepeth not his commandments, is a liar.
And where does this goes to? This goes to all the religious leaders.
Can.
All the pastors, all the black leaders and black groups that say that they love the Lord and they serve the Lord. You understand? The prophets of old is telling us that he that say what?
I know him, and keepeth not his commandments.
They profess to know the Lord. You understand? They profess to have the power of the Lord. You understand? Divine inspiration and all these different things. But they keep not the Most High's commandments. He's a what? A liar. You understand? So you're realizing so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, your religious leaders not keeping the laws of the Most High, the commandments, he's just a liar.
That's right.
And he's feeding you lies. You understand? And when you accept that lie with the lack of understanding that we may have, you understand? We feed it to our children, and our children feed it to their children. And right there is where we get that thing called the generational curse. So we keep spiraling, you understand, with the lies from the oppressor that has been fed to us. Go ahead.
And the truth is not in him.
You understand? And the truth is not in him. Continue, Baba Kusha.
Verse 5. But whosoever keepeth his word, in him verily is the love of God perfected.
You understand? But he who keepeth the words of the Most High, the love of God is perfected.
That's right.
Could we perfect the love of God? Of course, but we have to keep the word. We have to keep the Most High's laws, commandments, and statutes as a people. And we could perfect that. You understand? We could perfect that as a people. So now we're going to go to Matthew chapter 10 and verse 28. Right? And another brother also could hold John chapter 9, and we'll start at verse 1. Let me start understanding a little more about this heaven and hell. You understand?
Yeah.
When you have it, go ahead, Baba Kusha.
Come on, Khan. The book of Matthew, chapter 10 and verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body.
Fear them that do what?
Fear not them that kill the body.
The Lord is telling us to don't fear them that could kill the body. Look at the things that our people went through the Atlantic slave trade. Look at the things that happening with our oppressors, with our brothers, you understand, over in the Americas. The Lord is telling us, so-called black man, Hispanic man, don't fear him that could kill the body. Go ahead.
But are not able to kill the soul.
But are not able to do what?
But are not able to kill the soul.
Are not able to kill the soul. Are not able to kill that spirit. You understand? This is what we have to know, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. There's two separate things happening here. The body and the what? And the soul. Go ahead.
Come on, Khan. But rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body.
Now we have to
in
fear
hell.
somebody. We have to fear somebody that could do what? Kill both what?
Soul and body in hell.
Now when we die, we know that our body is not going where the soul goes. When we die, the body goes into the ground. You understand? Our body goes into the ground and decay. But our soul goes somewhere. And the scriptures is telling us that don't fear. Go ahead one more time, Baba Kusha.
Come on, Khan. The book of Matthew, chapter 10 and verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body.
Don't fear them that could kill the body. Go ahead.
But are not able to kill the soul. But rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell.
Fear him that could destroy both soul and body in hell. In this condition where we are as a people, both our body and our soul could be destroyed in this hell. You understand? How our body could be destroyed, how our soul could be destroyed in this hell. With AIDS, murders, you understand? Abortions, crack, black on black crime. These is the things that is going to affect us and destroy us in this place, in this hell. These is the things that we are not being taught as a people. These is the things that we are not being taught as a nation, as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. They don't have to die. You understand? To go to this place that we think is hell. We living in all these atrocities right now. And yet still, the religious leaders or religion is telling us when we die, we still have to go to this place for extra torment. After we have passed through all of this. You understand? As a people and as a nation. So now, when we learn these things, what we're going to do? We as a people just going to do enough to survive. You understand? We're not going to get up and we're not going to fight. Whilst the oppressor is living in his heaven, in his rulership. You understand? In his government. And he could call all the shots, send tariffs here, sanctions here. You understand? Cut off countries here. Look what happened to Cuba, for example. Why he could do that in his heaven, live all the luxuries and all these nice things. You understand? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians in hell. Taking all this, as we just say down here, all this jamming, but yet still, when we die, it have a hot hellhole waiting for us.
Okay.
You understand? We as a people have to get rid of all these lies. You understand? Get rid of all these lies by the oppressor, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. You understand? What that doctrine just teaches us, as a people, that teaches us just to be rebellious. Because when we're dead, we go into heaven. And so we could do what we want here. And then when we go there, we get you. When that is not so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. You understand? Now we're going to take into consideration something as well too. You understand what we have to know? Also to what goes hand in hand, you understand, with heaven and hell, what we have to understand also too is reincarnation.
That's
you
right.
Understand? Some may say regeneration. Because black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, when the Lord say that under the sun, you understand, that judgment was there. How will that happen? How will that judgment take place? You understand? When you die, your spirit is going to go to the Most High. And when your spirit goes to the Most High, it's going to be judged and come right back here on the earth to play out that judgment. You understand? This is what you have to understand, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Officer Badawan, you want to say anything?
You see, the thing is, the oppressor, well, I like to call him public enemy number one, but the other nations do follow him.
Right.
Because I hear you mentioned earlier about the Indians setting up a trade between, they want to bring India in the Caribbean trade, right?
Can.
Right. When we have big CARICOM, what about us in the Caribbean that we were supposed to trade with?
Right.
And when I heard you said that, you know, I said, oh, that's the way they are everywhere, because out here, all right, this is how it is out here. When those same Elamites, if they're going to take a taxi, if they're going about their business and then, you know, is a regular Jake driving, they will take it. But if they are there waiting on a taxi and they see a Elam come up, that Jake ain't getting their money.
Right.
Oh, God.
So when I heard you say that, I smiled and said, oh, that's the way it is all around.
All around.
If you can do that for a small thing like a taxi fare, which they might be paying maybe 1, 2, 3 US to travel.
Right.
Imagine what they will do with the millions. Not to mention the billions.
Right.
Which is why we as a people, we cannot strive and survive amongst these other nations.
Right.
All they seek to do is just suck and pull what you have.
Right.
They come around you, they learn from you, and then they set up some conglomerate. And their people already know the code that they are supposed to support each other.
Right.
That's
You know,
right.
you know, we try to see everybody as like what they out here, you know, our motto, Jamaica motto, out of many one people. Which is such a goddamn lie. And it since being the truth, I say, oh, but you see that truth, that motto is half finished.
Right.
Out of many one people, one nation, one set of people got the money.
Right.
That's right.
That's the next part of it. And we got none.
Right.
And I mean, you see, even this with this Epstein thing here, if our people really don't see this and wake up, then I mean, we in the truth, then it will explain. We would see why the most I say 144,000.
Right.
Because it means that they will be so blind. The truth staring in your face, and you're not seeing it.
Can't see it, can.
Yeah. I mean, here we are telling them about heaven and hell, and they are in hell, and they are saying, no, sir, hell hotter than this.
Right.
Which is why, you know, the oppressor himself need to get in hell.
Can.
Are you?
Can. So to what for that most time Christ.
Saying Christ.
You understand? And it is be good that we could hear, you understand, from different brothers and sisters about these other nations where they live.
That's right.
Because look at the same thing happening in Jamaica.
Oh, man.
You understand? We could see what happening in Guyana.
That's right.
We could see it plain. We hearing it in Guyana. You understand? We have our brother here telling us what happening in Jamaica. Look what happening to the Haitians. You understand? We stepping aside a little bit. Look what happening to our Venezuelan brothers and sisters.
So like I said, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead, Baba Kusha.
So like I said, if I may, and even also as well, the same thing is happening to the Cubans.
Right.
You understand? Right? And if I may just explain a little more, you see the situation that our leaders here in Trinidad, right? The leader of Trinidad and Tobago took the position to dismiss, understand, Cuba, right, as a dictatorship. Understand? Right? And the history of Cuba in the Caribbean, Cuba played a pivotal role in many islands in the Caribbean. Right? Even people right here in Trinidad and Tobago would admit that Cuba made it through the COVID-19 episode because of the Cuban doctors supported us heavy here in Trinidad, and they even supported our medical system in Trinidad on other occasions, right? Supplying a lot of doctors and nurses, right? And many people were pleased, right? And some would even speak out about it, about the service that we got from Cuban people, and it's and Salaki, sir.
Salaki, I just say right, you know, because I didn't know that UP in Trinidad you got the same. Out here they let it look political, as if, you know, the party that is in power now, they make it, at one point they make it look as if it was the other party that was bringing them in, but now you say that, I say, hold on, they were giving to the Caribbean, man.
Right.
Kawankan, and now they're making it look like the Cubans is good for nothing.
Right.
Understand? When they played a pivotal role, right? We even had Venezuela with the petrodollar, saving many Caribbean islands, right? And supplying us with energy resources. Now, because we have a hidden leader in the government of Trinidad and Tobago, you find the direction has changed.
Right.
You understand? And this is so ironic, right? Because the people based in the Caribbean, right, and the western side of the world predominantly, right, of the heritage of the Atlantic slave trade are the true Jews of the Bible.
Right.
You understand? And that's why sometimes in many people they would know, but in the spirit they could identify with the oppression. We could identify with the oppression in the people in Haiti, with the people in Cuba, with the people in Venezuela.
Jamaica,
You understand? Because we in Jamaica. You understand? Because we are all one people under the Most High.
Right.
You understand? The black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, we are the true Jews of the Bible, and that's why people would wonder why we are in this heavy level of a hellish condition.
Right.
Because the oppressors understand that you are the true Jews of the Bible. Salakia.
Yes,
Okay.
Salakia, so right now the leader of this country is just pure hypocrisy in terms of saying that the Cuban people, you know, they is dictators and look how they're running over the people.
Right.
When this same government does deal with China.
Right.
That's
And
right.
China had the same system.
That's
Right.
right.
They're not complaining about China.
That's
But they're
right.
complaining about the Cubans and them.
Showing you what?
Yeah,
Right, showing you.
pure hypocrisy.
That is it. You understand? And it's showing you the disdain
Yeah.
for our people.
Can
So
I
they
can?
don't like our people.
Can
You
I
understand? Whilst we might be in power and we looking to help them, when they get in there, it's to help them,
Can
to help their people, help themselves and help them people. Give me Deuteronomy 7 and 6, Baba Kusha. You understand? It's to help them and to help their people. But again, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge is out here in Trinidad. Light pole number 1, Morris Street in Point 14. You can come down at the school, you understand, and learn your culture, learn your heritage, learn your history, learn the Bible. You understand the records that was given by your forefathers to you, for us as a people to learn. You understand?
Yes, Salakia, if I may, sir. The numbers, don't forget the numbers to call in, right, to the program this evening. And it's 342-0081. That's 342-0081. 466-5391. 466-5391. Or 771-1791. That is 771-1791.
Christ. Officer Badawan, if I could, Baba Kusha. Right, when it comes to the other nations, right, which we understand when we read the Bible, the other nations meaning the other races, right, over in Jamaica, how do they function when it comes to business? You understand? And our people.
They are, what's the proper word? Clannish.
Right.
They are clannish with that. You'll find, for instance, the Chinese. The Chinese will be on a block and they have a Negro shop beside him. And you have two other Chinese store. A walk with if you go to the store, and I'm speaking from experience. So I went into a Chinese store and they didn't have what I want.
Right.
And they said, if you go to the block, to the next store, you will get it. I went out of the store and I walking down, missing a shop right by them. I said, okay, this is a answer too. And I went in that store and look, there's a black man who owned that store and I got what I want.
Right.
What's that about me? That I wasn't even in the truth, you know.
Okay.
I remember I look and I said, hold on. Then so them try and send me all down there. But then things come in the truth and then I look back on all those things and realize that they are just being clannish.
Right.
So it you know, you leave all the way from China and you come out here amongst less than 3 million and you be that clash. You telling now, in Christ's word, and if the power should fall in our hands,
Right.
what should we?
Can.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, can we go in China and do business?
Right.
I doubt that. I know a lot of our people go to China to buy, but I'm talking about to set up business.
Right.
Yeah, and even we have a lot of Pakistani out here. You know, they corner the appliance stores. You know, each of them fell each. And you see, things that we had as black people, you know, the corner store and thing.
Right.
You know who from the corner store, you know who go over there.
Can.
But when I read our history, I realized that it was the oppressor that brought in the Chinese specifically for that, and
Right.
they're trying to start, you know, all the emirs interest blood. The interest was what? You remember labor 2 or 3 years and they did them all that they have a money start a business.
Right. Can.
And we have never paid for how many 100 years. I mean, you didn't even give up. At the bottom, many of us blacks lift ourselves up, and you know, when you start a business and you start a retail business,
Right.
you get the same privilege from the district Chinaman. The Chinaman will get you know, open doors from the back and open from the distributor.
That's right.
While then you black man that. And it's not you black not good in business. You are equal in business. They don't just give you the opportunity because they are scared of us rising. As remember what J. Gawoon says. J. Edgar said the biggest enemy to America is not communism, not China, but activity.
Right.
That's right.
That was head of FBI. And after that, they launched the COINTEL program, which tear down everything that blacks have ever built and ensure that we remain in hell.
That's right.
We are in nothing but a hell situation.
Right.
You know, we've been through that 4 years ago. And since being the truth now and the kid what nice over there, I said, oh, it's a conspiracy.
Right.
Because the Chinese come straight from China and come carry. Don't at first they behave like these out here, you know. And somebody tell man, you know, actually.
Right. Most sound crazy.
But, you know, seeing as slave class and so on. They will come out here, they don't. As a matter of fact, they come out here, I call you from China. Oh, man.
Right. Salaki, I feel your audio going out there a little bit. Salaki, sir. No, we're not hearing at all.
Hello.
Yeah.
Right, we hear now.
Yeah.
I'm in the auto.
You hear me, Salaki, sir?
No, I'm after talking, so
the audio coming in choppy a little bit, right? But when we understand what Officer Badawan saying, you understand about these other nations and the way they treat our people, and when you look at it, they come right in our ghettos, set up shop, you understand, and drain all our resources.
That's right.
You understand? They take it all from our communities when we supposed to be developing our communities, our areas, our zones, supporting black people, black businesses. You understand? And when you have it, go ahead, Bible Kusha,
Can. The book of Deuteronomy 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
So-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, this is for you. The Lord is telling us that we are a holy people. What does holy mean? Holy means separate. You understand? We understand how these other nations treat us here in our country. Now we're hearing from our brother as well. You understand? Over in Jamaica. And we have many other brothers that will come on the show from time to time and they will hear their experiences with these other nations as well in their country. You understand? We will hear and understand these experiences, and when you go into the scriptures, you seeing whereby how these other nations dealt with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
That's right.
Now we'll look at all these oppressors, all these other nations, like how Officer Michael was bringing out with Donald Trump and Cuba, realizing that these other nations just going after your brothers, your family.
That's right.
As well, Officer Swapiala is always say, this house, this family. You understand? But the Lord telling us that we are a holy people. Holy means separate, or kodash in the Hebrew. We are people that's supposed to be separate from all these other nations, their way of life, their customs, the way how they do things, because in our Bible, we have our own way. Go ahead, Officer Barriat Salakia.
Unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God had chosen thee to be a special people.
The Lord has chosen us, black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Even if we in this hell, even if we are the lowest, the bottom of society, all these other nations, they have their foot on our necks. The Lord tells us that He chose us to be a special people. Go ahead.
To be a special people unto Himself, above all people.
Now what?
Above all people, that are upon the face of the
The
earth.
Lord tell us so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, he chose us to be a special people, a separate people. He chose us to be above all people. What does that mean? All these other nations or all these other races, the Lord chose us to be above them. You understand? Now we might be asking ourselves this question. If the Lord chose us to be above all these other nations, why are we at the bottom of society? Why are all these nations trampling upon us? So-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man is because we fail to do one thing, which is adhere to the rules of this family, the rules of this house, which we fail to adhere to the laws, commandments, and statutes given to the Most High to Moses, that Moses gave to us as a people and as a nation. You understand? But once we start returning to our rules, once we start returning to our way, to our government, you understand? To the laws of the Most High, we're going to start moving from this spot that we are in, which is at the bottom, to be in the spot where the Lord intended for us as a people to be, which is to be above all nations, all races upon the face of the earth. Just as Officer Badaman out in Jamaica was saying, you understand? What if we was in that rulership or in that power spot or in that power seat? Then how should we deal with these other nations?
Okay.
You understand? How should we deal with them? When you look at how they have dealt with us as a people, you understand? For over 400 years. But the Lord wants us, the Lord say that He wants us to be above. You want to say something, Officer?
Yes, sir.
Right? You understand? The Lord wants us to be above all these other nations that are upon the face of the earth. Somebody give me Lamentation chapter 14 and verse 7, and we go jump back to the hell as well too, because we're going to see as well whereby our forefather David, you understand, and battling all his wars where he spoke about being in hell. You understand? Showing that it was just a condition. When you have it, Lamentation chapter 4 and verse 17. You understand? See, showing whereby our forefather David, showing whereby he was in this hell battling with all these other nations. You understand? And his own people that was fighting against him too. You understand? But let me go to the Lamentation chapter 4 and verse 17, Baba Kusha.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 4 and verse 17. As for us.
As for who?
As for us.
So-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Go ahead.
Our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
Our eyes have looked for vain help, for our vain help. We look to these other nations to help us as a people. But our forefathers have told us what? Read it again from the top, Baba Kusha.
Kan. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
We keep watching for that nation, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, that cannot save us.
Okay.
You understand? With all their doctrines and all their philosophies, and we might be looking for whatsoever help. You understand? For our nation to come up, these nations is not going to help us. The Lord tells us in the book of Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1, gather ourselves together.
That's right.
This is our order. Gather ourselves together, O nation not desired. We have to realize, because we're hearing it. We're hearing that account from our brother as well too over in Jamaica. You understand? Whereby we as a people are not desired over there. We're seeing it in Guyana as well too. We're seeing it at the hands of our Venezuelan brothers and as Officer Michael bringing out the Cubans, the Haitians. You understand? We are that nation that are not desired by all these other races. The Lord told us to do what? Gather ourselves together. Where are we going to gather ourselves together? The next Black group? No so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Where are we going to gather ourselves together? In the Christian church to continually learn about Dante's Inferno? To continually learn about Christmas and Easter and Valentine's Day and birthdays, the things that the Lord tell us we're not supposed to be celebrating? No so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. This Bible belongs to you. We as a people, we have to gather ourselves together where the Lord intended for this nation to build, which is in the ISUPK under commanding General Yohana. Salakia. You understand? Anybody want to say anything before we go
That's
again?
right.
Anybody want to say anything again before we go? All right.
The book of Deuteronomy 28 and I reading 49 to 50.
Right.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth,
Right.
as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. A nation of fierce countenance,
Right.
which shall not regard persons of the old, nor show favor unto the young. So it's showing you basically and the same thing it's showing you with this particular nation, which is basically America. All our America allies will show no mercy unto the old, neither unto the young,
Right.
our people.
Correct. You understand? Because this is just the spirit of the oppressor. You
Okay.
understand? They will have that mercy on our people. They will not show favor to us.
Okay.
You understand? So then who do we have to look to get that favor? We have to look to ourselves.
Okay.
We have to look to our nation. We
Okay.
have to look to the things that our forefathers gave us to see where we went wrong or where we are going wrong as a people and as a nation. You
Okay.
understand? And once we could identify where we're going wrong, then we know definitely which side we need to do to go right.
Okay.
You understand? If you could, Baba Kusha, give me the Psalms 18 from verse 4 to 6, Baba Kusha.
Psalms 18.
Psalms chapter 18, we'll go to verse 4 to 6. Black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, you have to remember and you have to realize that hell is just a condition on earth. You understand? It's just like somebody going in jail and asking them, hey, how inside is why we say, boy, inside is like hell, boy. You understand? This is how black people talk. You understand? You hearing people coming out and protesting and saying, boy, down in the ghetto, it ain't nothing. Pressure down there is like hell.
Okay.
You understand? Because we understand it's just that condition that we're in. We want to come out.
That's right.
So they will use these terms, they will use these phrases. You understand? For us to understand. But religion, you understand? Being taught or taking what was given by the oppressor, run with the inferno of Dante and make us believe that when we die, we're still going in this place. You understand? Where there's fire and a pitchfork and a so-called devil. When all these things have nothing to do with the Bible.
That's right.
You understand? And the thing about it is young children, you understand, will learn through imagery as well too. So they will put it in cartoons and in movies.
Okay.
And they come up from young learning that, hey boy, after all this we still have to go in hell, boy. So now they're not cherishing life or they ain't giving life value. All these things we have to take into consideration as well.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mufsa Maikwa.
No, Salaki, the Psalms.
The time clicking on us. All right,
Come
go
on,
ahead.
come on. The book of Psalms, chapter 18 and verse 4. The sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of ungodly men made me afraid.
You understand? So our King David is saying the sorrows of death compass him. You understand? Because our king, our forefather, he was fighting battles in his kingdom. You understand? With these other nations and men in the kingdom also too, which will be called ungodly men. The religious leaders, the pastors,
That's right.
politicians. You understand? Those that have all those high seats. Go ahead.
Kawankan. Verse 4. The sorrows compass me against Salakia. The sorrows of death compass me, and the floods of ungodly men made me afraid.
Go ahead.
The sorrows of hell.
The sorrows of what?
The sorrows of hell compassed me about.
You understand? The sorrows of hell. Our forefather King David is describing what hell is. That anguish, that torment, that sorrow. You understand? It's just a condition, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Don't let these other nations or other races fool you into believing that there's a place to go after. Right now, the time ticking down. We've got to continue it next week, Lord allow. You understand? We have 46 seconds on the clock of Sabbath. I know if you want to say anything. As the time clicking down, we have about 46 seconds before we close off for the hour.
Well, yeah, so hard for, linking us up here in Jamaica because, I mean, I spoke to Officer Sawap from time to time, but, hearing the other brothers, telling us on the ground and things, boy, trust me, it's like you are describing Jamaica.
Right,
when you're describing what you're experiencing with these Elamites. It's not different.
Right, so we have 10 seconds on the clock. Again, we appreciate you, Officer Badawan, Most High and Christ, for coming through with us. You understand? On the next show, We'll try to get...
ISUPK, Trinidad and Tobago.
Alright, yeah, what's up, other one, right? So, we appreciate you coming in with us here today as well. We'll try, from time to time, we'll try to get different brothers from different schools to join up with yourself, us, you know what I mean? Various brothers from the UK and so forth. You understand? So, we greatly appreciate you coming with us here tonight. And also for sharing the experience for us to understand here in Trinidad as well. The things that these other nations is doing, our brothers, you understand, in Jamaica. You understand? Again, just on a quick side note, to Officer Badawan and have our next officer as well, to Officer Kayadwan. You understand? When Hurricane Melissa taken Jamaica, you understand, they went out and gave out food and clothes to our people. You
That's
understand?
right.
Under the instructions of Commanding General Yohana. So these brothers out in Jamaica, they're doing heavy work. They're doing heavy work just like we're doing work here in Trinidad for our people as well too. Again, we have our upcoming food and clothing drive. Check us out tomorrow, Lord allow. Monday, please, Lord allow, for Feast of Purim. You understand? Monday and Tuesday, you can come on through to the school. All blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are welcome. And with that, I want to say shalom to Officer Badawan out in Jamaica. Shalom, sir. You understand?
Shalom, we have a food and clothing drive this weekend as well.
Right, and it have a food and clothing drive in Jamaica this weekend as well too. You understand? So you've seen that the work that Commanding General Yohana putting out with the soldiers here on the ground. You understand? And with that again, shalom to the listening audience. Shalom, Officer Badawan.
Yeah, shalom.
We appreciate your presence.
Shalom.
ISUPK, Trinidad and Tobago, under Commanding General Yohana. We will be live on the streets, 91.9 FM, every Thursday from 7 p.m. Hosted by Officer Sawapya Allah and Officer Mathkoyak.
West to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me.
ISUPK, under Commanding General Yohana, live every Thursday night from 7 p.m. on the streets, 91.9 FM.
Join the winning team with Pastor Alkaline John
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on the street 919 FM as he talks about Lviv, the power of 5 fruits, one of the most powerful antioxidant supplements on the market today. The 5 superfruits in Lviv are mangosteen, acai, pomegranate, goji, and nuni. These fruits